So what do you think about Ayra Starr?
Ayra Starr, well, talented young woman. The story is just quite fascinating, you know. Not signed. Scouted by maybe 2 years ago. Started recording and posting content of herself, recording and performing performing covers and certain songs on her social media page at the time. Maybe got to find out about her and they scouted her and she got on the label. But particularly at this time, right? And then you have to also look at her age. She's 18 now, so that means she was 16 at the time. They had to work hard on this deal. I know for a fact that they were looking for a female artist for a while. They couldn't find a female artist. But because if you're going to sign a new artist now, labels prefer fresh artists. You don't want people that you're going to have to do a lot of rebrand for. It's not just going to be about someone that you want to just put your money on from the get-go. So it was good that these guys wanted. So if you're going to do that, the artist, either male or female, has to be young.
Yeah.
So these guys went ahead and got this girl, 16 years old. They will have to convince her parents, convince them that she was going to go to this, do that, be protected, won't go to parties and all these things. So the parents have to really be on board. The family has to be on board. It's a lot of work. So finally, she's here. She also lost her dad a while back, and a lot of her music, she says her dad's death inspires a lot of things she does. So we have to sort of give credit to Maven, and it's actually quite an interesting artist. She's an interesting artist because look at it this way. Right now in Nigeria, as much as until 2019, we were sort of struggling for female artists, like genuine female artists that could genuinely break through. Like before Tems, after the Simisola era, Simisola episode, you are looking at Tenny, you are looking at a few others. There was really nobody that felt like they could break through that door, break through that barrier, become a genuine female pop star. Then Tems happened, and now this girl. I feel like this girl has a lot of star power. She has a lot of star power, and it's quite exciting at this time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not just for her, but for Nigerian music as a whole.
She rolled out an EP, a project was rolled out and everything. What do you think about, you said it took maybe 2 years to bring her up to this stage. That's artist development.
Yeah, that's artist development.
You know, and that's something Maven, that's something they do a lot. What do you think about their artist development as an imprint?
Look, Maven is fantastic at artist development. One of the greatest impediments to the growth of Nigerian music or to the Nigerian music industry is terrible artist development. A lot of people don't understand what artist development is. They can't work, so if you don't understand it, you can't see the need for it. If you can't see the need for it, then that means a lot of artists are undercooked, right? I'm going to give you certain examples. Big Sean met Kanye West at 17. He signed his contract with Good Music at 20. He released his first album at 23. That's 6 years of artist development. That's 6 years of you working hard and grinding to make things happen. The Jonas Brothers, before they signed their first record deal, right? The A&R that found them made sure that they all learned how to play instruments, all of them. Now there's a girl now called Jela Dadin. I think she's signed to RCA. This girl was working hard on her craft. If you are strong in independent circles, you will know this girl. But now she's still under artist development. She's working. Something that Tunji Balugbe is really good at. Mm-hmm. So you have to look at what Maven has been able to do over the past few years. It's not just with Ayra Starr alone. Rema Crayon, they were at Maven 2 years before they were unveiled as new artists. And an artist development phase is not to familiarize you. It's not just to make an artist better. It's to refine the artist. It's for you to get familiar with the artist. It's for the artist to get familiar with you. For you to build trust. To see whether it's important to move forward. To sign them to a record deal. If a record deal is going to make sense. Or if it's just going to be a management contract. It's a lot of things to discover. Find their sound. develop a plan, a 5-year plan for the artist. How can we do this for you? Okay, what's your ceiling? How much money do we put behind you? And Maven is good at strategy. They're excellent at it. Tega is great at it. It's an incredible mind. So these are the things that they were trying. They were trying to do at this time. What's the brand? How do we present you to the world? Who do we want you to appeal to? So the artist development phase, that's what it is, and they've been fantastic at it. Again, this is another example of great artist development.
Another great example. Yeah. Now that you've given a couple of examples just off Maven alone, are they the best? Do they have the best artist development program in terms of Nigerian music industry as an imprint, as a label?
Yeah. No, not really. They don't. They are one of the best in the pop scene.
Okay.
Yeah, probably yes.
But what of in general?
But in general, no.
Who do you think is the best?
The best artist development in this country, I would have to give it to Christ Embassy.
The church?
Yes. We had a conversation with Sinach recently, and she was breaking down how Christ Embassy unintentional. They don't even realize that it's artist development, right? The idea is to make you good enough for the choir. But a lot of them, they don't realize that they are sharpening these people to become superstar artists. And over the past 15 years alone, they've been able to produce over 10-star gospel artists. We're going to give you more on that on another episode of Facts Only, by the way. Watch out for that.
Okay. Talking about the rollout plan, I remember the Friday that Ayra Starr was introduced to us. She was trending on DSPs, on Apple Music, and on iTunes. And, on Twitter, the rollout plan was really, really, really good. Yeah. Does maybe also have the best rollout plan, for artists in Nigeria?
Bar none. Yeah. Bar none. Some other labels try. Keycard, the one that is currently on, they are quite good at rolling up bodies of work, especially from a strategy point of view. But with Maven, it's an all hands on deck type of rollout plan. Everything is planned to a T. Like, you will sit down, if you really understand music, right, you will sit down and watch a Maven rollout. A lot of people think it's just Don Jazzy. It's not. It's really not. And a lot of it might have to do with the fact that they are Maven records, right? They are forced to be reckoned with in African music. But they also put in the work to make this thing work. When you look at a Maven artist, after it's rolled out, the music looks like the person, right? You are listening to the music, but you can easily find a link between what you are saying and the music you are listening to. It's well thought out. It's amazing. They even do it to a level where the first song that is released, that is promoted, might not exactly be the biggest song. It's just the introduction. We remember it was Corny first, but the biggest song on it ended up being what? Ended up being Maybe. On his second EP, we are not going to talk about Rema's freestyles because those ones are just freestyles. Second EP, Bad Commando was released first. What was the biggest song from it? Lady. With Crayon, it was slightly different because nobody, even they probably didn't expect So Fine to be that big. So with them, you are looking at pitching to DSPs, you are looking at a lot of things that goes into this. You are looking at social media influencing, you are looking at influencer marketing, you are looking at reverse influencer marketing, you are looking at the way they crafted her. Now this is a girl that she's 18, right? On a good day, an artist like that should appeal to a younger audience. Like they did it with Rema, they executed it impeccably with Rema. When Rema was coming out, he had braids all back. Anytime he would go to perform, he would have a ski mask. And at some point, he would carry a teddy bear, right? That was to appeal to a young audience. It was well crafted, amazing, right? When they wanted to break Rema out, what started happening? Rema started tweeting crazy on Twitter. Cut his hair. That's rebranding, taking it to another level. It's important. These are transitions. That's a rollout. With this girl, on a good day, you expect her to appeal to a young audience, right? So that means her hairstyle would have been different, the way she looked would have been different, less skin, a lot of things. But you are looking at Ayra Starr, you are looking at a lot of skin. So that means they are telling you that we are not trying to sell this girl to a young audience. It's for young adults, basically. Old people can like her, but we are selling her to the young adults, to a young adult audience. So the idea of it and the way Don Jazzy was moving with it, it was central to that entire marketing.
Yeah, so that's what I want to ask. How pivotal he is, because this Don Jazzy dude, he how influential he is right now on the internet. And this is not something he started just now. Yeah. That is an influencer. Even an influencer. Even when he was just a producer, he was as influential.
Yes.
Maybe not as much now as with the internet culture.
Yeah.
You know, but he has been doing stuff like this. So how pivotal is he as a person to all these ruler plans?
Don Jazzy's transgender. We're also going to do an episode of this very soon. I want to watch out for that. It's amazing how Don Jazzy has been able to go from the producer guy. He told you guys on Loose Talk, you remember, where he was talking about how DJ T crafted the persona of the guy who, the boss guy who doesn't talk a lot. You remember in the video for Query, for example, he would be talking to in the band and all of that. But now you're looking at Don Jazzy, he's out there, he's talking, he's laughing. And he's very open to everybody. Everybody loves him. The way he was moving that day, a lot of the introduction, the way everybody knew about Ayra Starr came from that. From the tweets. He was mentioning celebrities, he was mentioning a lot of things. A lot of that was internet-based, right? Like, and you can understand why a lot of their marketing is social-based, because I was doing an article earlier today, and the guy was saying music marketing in 2021 is going to be significantly, it's going to change in 2021, and you can't blame them you can't blame everybody for making everything social media based these days, because why? You are looking at a lot of factors, and we have to make sure some of those things correlate to the current realities.
Yeah, that takes me to the next question. The next question is, does this buzz, is it really just buzz, or it's really it's really open to the market? It's really transitioning into the market. When I mean market, both online and offline.
Yeah.
The buzz that this kind of rollout that Maven does
Yeah.
brings on the internet. Is this just buzz, or there's something tangible to it?
Well, first things first, they are going to know that this is just the phase one. This is phase one. They are going to move into beta phase very soon, because most of the marketing they have done until now has been online. You can't blame them. Like I was saying the other time, marketing has sort of changed. You still have to do a lot of offline work. You still have to do a lot of plugins. You still have to do a lot of interviews, radio, and a lot of other things. A lot of Nigeria, like Statistica did a report recently where at the end of 2020, where they reported that over 50% of Nigeria is under 19 years old. And a lot of Nigerians under the age of 19 live on social media. They have social media accounts. If you don't have a Facebook account, you have an Instagram account, or you have a Twitter account. Some have everything all at once. A lot of them might not be able to afford data on the same level, but they all use these platforms. Even the older people, they all use these platforms. So that's why a lot of marketing has to be online. It's imperative to introduce an artist online, because it's easier for marketing for the world to go from online platforms to offline platforms, than from offline platforms to online platforms. But the thing right now is, where they are right now currently is, Ayra Starr, the people who are online, especially on Twitter, the message basically has transcended more on Twitter than on any other platform. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that Twitter is a subculture. It's just it's under 15% of Nigeria. So you have to look at how a guy at Agege might not necessarily know who Ayra Starr is currently, as of today. But they will know that. They will know that they have to do a lot of offline work. The work has to transcend to that level. So it's been good, to be honest. The responses have been excellent.
What do you think about the artist herself? Ayra Starr, what do you think about her?
Like I was saying the other time, the brand is exceptional. Like, the girl can sing. She can sing. I like the writing. Obviously, she will not have done some of those writing because it's Maven. They know that to be a good artist, to be a well-rounded artist, you have to be a performing artist. If you're a good songwriter, it's imperative to write your songs. But all the time, you might not be able to write all your songs. Because I don't on Sariwali, for example, there was a Lijado Sisters interpolation. Even if you knew the Lijado Sisters, it probably wasn't an idea. So you have to look at the way the music is constructed. She is very well-rounded. A lot of the songs are R&B themed, but at the same time, you have a lot of pop. She's very pop, and she's very Nigerian. Like, there's a lot of lamba. If you understand what I mean by lamba, there's a lot of lamba in her music. She also delivers in a lot of native language. She's from Edo State, that day, but she grew up in Lagos. She delivers in Yoruba, she delivers in Pidgin. The music is well-rounded. It's very Nigerian. You can listen to it and you can relate to it. You are not going to get lost in it. And the branding, like I was discussing the other time, our branding is of a pop princess. She's not an R&B artist. She's not an Alte artist. Although the name sounds very abstract. I think the name is the only problem. The name is very, very abstract. That's something that I don't necessarily agree with. They might need to get out the star or the era, maybe make it star or make it era at some point. The two might not be able to work together. So that's what I think about it. But right now, if I was speaking to a friend of mine and he says that girl is a made pop star, and I sort of agree. I sort of agree.
So the conversation that they also shifted to Tems.
Yeah, easily.
You know, is she really similar to Tems?
Yeah. They are not the same though. I feel like sometimes the way the internet posits arguments, it's sort of too grand sometimes. There's this grandiose idea that the internet projects, and it's not essentially right. It's that this or that. They are not the same. Like if from the first moment you listen to Ayra Starr, you are not getting the Tems vibes. You have to listen after a few minutes. Then you get certain elements that are similar to Tems. How are they similar? Their voice is not exactly similar. It's not exactly similar. The way they deliver certain words, that's where the similarities come out. The way they deliver the end of consonants and the way they deliver the end of vowels, and the way they deliver the ends of certain mild words, the way their voice, they manipulate their voice, their respective voice, vocal cords, and the way they manipulate their notes. That's where the similarities come out. And the end of cadences. It's not exactly that she sounds like Tems the way Isolate sounds like Nice, the way Durella and the band used to be similar, the way Trudy K and Wandiko used to be similar. Not even like Alpha P and Rema. They are not that similar, but there are elements in their respective in the artistry that's peculiar to both artists that share certain similarities. That's just what.
How do they differ?
They are different because number one, Tems is not exactly. Tems is different. Tems is not a pop princess, not yet at least. She has been trying to make some pop records. For example, on Damages is a fast-paced song. Try Me had some Nigerian appeal, but that's not exactly a Lamba record. It's not exactly as Lamba as what you are going to hear on an Ayra Starr. When you hear Ayra Starr and put Tems and Ayra Starr together, you're probably going to class Tems in more of the alternative conversation. If it's going to be pop, you're probably going to say alternative pop or something. But Ayra Starr is Lamba with a hint of R&B. Tems also makes R&B, but they are not the same. And then Tems' brand is not based on a lot of sexuality. She's a gorgeous woman, right? Beautiful. And she also makes a whole lot of, she produces, she does a lot of these things. She's like an artist who also produces and all of these things. But she wears all these baggy outfits in public. All these things where the convention that attended. Tems, can someone tell Tems to turn? Yeah. All these things. But with Ayra Starr,
she stays away from it.
Stays away from it because she wants to make it all about the music. And it's working. Because if she starts making it all about the sex appeal, boys are going to change the entire conversation on that. But with Ayra Starr, it's different. Ayra Starr's brand has a lot of sexuality and sensuality to it. She has a lot of sex appeal. She's selling it as part of the music. Okay. And her music is also more Nigerian than Tems' music. Okay, the question now would be, if there wasn't a successful artist like Tems, would Mavin have looked at Starr and said, oh, this can work? Yes, absolutely. I don't think they signed her because Tems was existing. Like I said, they are not the same thing. She's not a replica. Okay. It's extreme to say she's a direct replica. Okay. So Mavin would have seen that the similarities while she was in artist development. Okay. I think it was regardless of that, not because of Tems. Regardless of the fact that Tems was existing, not because Tems was existing. Do you think that's what drew reactions from the like of like Timaya, Ghost? Because Timaya tweeted something that people were related to the conversation. Ghost also came. Yeah, which was quite funny, by the way. With Timaya, I think it's quite different. I think with Timaya, it's just opinions. There might be some bias there. There might be some unreserved opinions there that nobody knows. But it's just anybody can have an opinion. It might just be someone that likes Tems, that prefers Tems. It's fine. Yeah. But with Ghost, it's close to Tems' camp, and you understand why if Ayra Starr wasn't working, the noise wasn't working, then they wouldn't have said anything. Yeah. So it's if he said something, then that means it was pressed. It's that simple. Like if You don't see, when Alpha P came out, you didn't see Tega saying and tweeting about it. It's not because Alpha P wasn't there, but if you decide to get on your phone and tweet something, then that means you're oppressed.
So finally, is there a problem with artists having artists sharing similarities? Is it a problem to be a copycat or whatever it is? I don't know.
Well, no. Artists can be similar, right? Artists can be. There's no problem if artists are similar. This is not the first time that artists will be similar. Let's go back. Let's engage ourselves in history lessons. Like rock and roll era, right? 70s, the height of rock and roll. Everybody was trying to have a rock band, right? Everybody was trying to have the next Bon Jovi. Everybody was trying to have the next Nirvana. Everybody was trying to have the next anything. When the Beatles had their 9-year run, everybody was trying to create a boy band culture. Let's bring it forward to the Westlife, to the boy band culture era in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Everybody was trying to have a boy band because the girls loved it, and if they were good looking and they could make good records, R&B pop records, you would make a lot of money. Nigeria, right? You're looking at Fela and Orlando Julius. They were both making Afrobeats, but were they the same? Was that a problem? That was not exactly a problem. Isolate and Nice, they were existing in the same space. Durella and D'banj, even a lot of them, it's not exactly a problem, but you have to have something that sets you apart. If something doesn't set you apart, then that's the problem. That was the problem with Alpha P. The quality of the music wasn't the problem. Alpha P's first EP, King of Wolves, was amazing. It was a first classic EP. But the fact that from the moment it landed, even though a lot of people didn't know that it was a Rema's bandmate, or Rema's at some point, they were calling him Rema 2.0. It wasn't about the fact that his music was bad. It was about the fact that everything about him screamed Rema. The hairstyle, the sound, the way he was manipulating his voice. That wasn't his fault, actually. But his label could have made him depart from that slightly. And that was the problem he had. Durella and D'banj, even though Durella struggled for a while, like he struggled to break out of that, he became his own person because he just found a way to own it, even though he wasn't a copycat. People are going to pin copycats on you if you don't find a way to depart from certain things. So it's not a problem if two artists are alike. It's a problem if you are trying to force the similarities that you have to an established artist, because you are going to play catch up all your life. And the moment you start playing catch up all your life, that's what the problem. But I don't think, it's not that I don't think, it's not happening in the case of Ayra Starr and Tems, and that's facts only.